Joining us right now, like he does every Monday at this time, is Pro Bowl defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. He's presented by Main Street Bank. Cheer local, bank local. Put their team in your office. Visit mstreetbank.com for more information. Hey, John.
What's going on? How you doing?
What's
Appreciate
up?
having me again.
Hey, let me
not
start.
much.
Let's start with the 2-point conversion, because at that point in the game, there's 12 minutes left, about 12 and a half minutes left. It's 24-16. They just scored on you, and Atlanta decides to go for two. On the broadcast, they were giving Klike Hudson all the props and maybe deserved some of it, but you pulled down that ball carrier and basically just kept him out of the end zone. What did you see on that play? Tell us about that play.
Yeah, no, after the pass interference call, I had a, good feeling they were going to try to run the ball. So, I mean, in that situation, you don't really have time to think. So I'm just coming off the ball, trying to be aggressive, physical, and disruptive, and, man, scratch and claw to do anything I can to help the team win. And, that was such a huge play in the game, because that put us in a position to where if they did score again, they would have to go for two just to tie.
Right.
So that was a huge point in the game. So I was glad I was able to be a part of that play and, help my team come away with the win yesterday.
It almost becomes predictable, right? When in that situation, when they get a penalty and then the ball moves up to the 1 yard line, you're right. You almost know they're going to run there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you expecting a tush push?
No, just because they had opportunities to run it before and they hadn't run it, and I hadn't seen it on film. So I wasn't expecting it. I knew they're a running football team. They have great running backs. They believe in their offensive line. So we knew that they were going to try to ground and pound us and be physical and get in the end zone through the ground. So, that's the way we wanted as a defensive line. We wanted it on our shoulders, and we want the responsibility and all the burdens that come along with it.
How would you grade the defense's performance overall? You hold them to 16 points, forced 3 turnovers, but they did rack up 400 yards.
Yeah. I think the sign of a great defense is even when bad things happen, being able to rise to the occasion. And even though we didn't hold them in yardage-wise as much as we would want, when they did get down inside the red zone, besides, I think, the first drive, we made it very challenging for them. And really what it came down to was getting turnovers in the second half. So I think it was a good performance. I won't say great. Obviously, when you give up 400 yards, that's not a great performance. But we did what we had to do to get the win. So overall, I'll give it like a B. It was a good performance.
That's the way I look at it, John. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Just look at San Francisco and Philly yesterday, playing bad teams, or certainly teams weren't expected to win with backup quarterbacks, and you go on the road, you get a win. Anytime you go on the road and win, I think it's big.
Yeah, it's funny. When I first came out of college, I still had the Alabama mindset, and so after wins in the NFL early in my career, even if we won, I want to be happy unless we dominated. But obviously NFL is not like college. So I've learned to really cherish and appreciate every single win in the NFL, because it's tough. It really is. Every single game is going to be a challenge. So it was a good win yesterday, and I definitely learned to appreciate the wins.
So your secondary came up big, right? Some big interceptions. Jamin, obviously, with the big one there, is not a secondary linebacker guy. But can you talk a little bit about the approach you guys had that allowed them to have that kind of day?
It was funny. Before the game started, I went to them. I'm like, hey, in the run game, put it all on us. The D-line will take care of the run. You guys take care of the pass, we're going to be good. And, what I always tell people is the most dangerous part of a game for a defense, for the most part, obviously, relatively speaking, is the first 15. The first 15 plays that a team scripts. They're so tough because they have a game plan. They have an idea of how we're going to line up to certain situations and respond, and they have a precise plan of how to attack us. Once you survive those first 15 and you start to get into the flow of the game, that's when you really, can start getting after it. So as a defense, we got to be better in the first 15. But after we got settled in, after that, I think the DBs played phenomenal. They didn't really give up a lot of plays over the top. They challenged all throws. 3 interceptions. That's a game right there. You take those away. Who knows what happens?
Plus, Jonathan, I really thought St. Juice had that other interception that they gave the 50-50 ball to London. I thought he had it 75-25 maybe.
It's funny. I was talking to Juice, and I'm like, man, I feel like that's like the 4th or 5th pick I've seen you get. But the one you got in the end zone was the first one of his career. He had a pick 6 taken away against Minnesota last year. He had a Dallas one taken away last year. that the one he had earlier in the game looked like an interception. So,
Right.
man, I know he was just glad to finally get an official one under his belt.
Wow, I didn't realize that. That was his first career.
First career.
First
pick.
career. Crazy. I know, right?
How did Forbes handle not playing? I mean, John Keim said the guy's been great that way, you know?
Yeah. One thing I'll say about Forbes is he's an adult and he's a pro. And, you know, what me and some of the other guys are telling him, like, man, it's the NFL, man. It's going to be times where you get humbled, and I told him my stories of getting humbled, and Kendall Fuller told him his stories of getting humbled, and this is all part of the NFL, but as long as you handle it the right way, you'll be fine. Like, you're a first-round draft pick. You're going to be fine. You're going to have your opportunities, and they're going to come. You just got to be able to take the good with the bad, and when you get back on top, that's why you see guys work so hard, because they know what it's like to be down low, and that's a terrible feeling. For anybody who's been there, it's a terrible feeling. So he's going to be fine. He's going to grow for this. I know it's tough for him, but, man, he's been awesome. He really has been. I give him much respect, because I don't know if I could have done what he's doing.
Talking to Jonathan Allen, Pro Bowl defensive tackle, about the Commanders' 24-16 win over the Falcons. We got to see 2 sacks from Casey Toohill. Guy only had 2 sacks, I think, in his career beforehand, and he is a backup. We understand the first-round draft picks, but tell us about the skill set from Casey Toohill, because most of us don't get to see him very much.
I tell some of the younger guys this, like, this defensive line is is probably the hardest defensive line to play on in the NFL. I mean, you got 4 first-round draft picks in the 4 positions. That alone is going to limit the amount of reps you get. So, I mean, I'm really, really happy for Casey, man. I know he's going to want to go out there and really showcase what he can do. I think this is the contract year for him. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But I couldn't think of a better guy to go out there and have 2 sacks. I'm really happy for him. He deserved it. And to be honest, what you guys see, I see him do this all the time. He just hasn't had the opportunity to really show it in the game. So this is huge for him.
So, John, last week we spent a lot of time after the loss to the Bears talking about kind of the off-the-field stuff, coaching stuff, demeanor, and then it came out that there was a sign, the do your job sign, and we kind of kicked it around whether it was a big deal or not. For you and as a team, does that galvanize the team? What did it mean to you, the do your job thing? Is it something you can rally around?
I mean, I'm not going to say it was one inspirational piece that helped us to victory, but, I mean, it was a reminder of, hey, we got to do our job. I know for me personally, the biggest point of emphasis for me was having fun. And when I say that, I don't mean just going out there and just BSing around. But, like, we're playing the game of football, and I think there's times where defense can get uptight and get stressed and get worried about being perfect. And everybody knows that no one's going to be perfect. So for me, what I always try to tell the guys, or what I was trying to tell the guys all week, is let's just go out there and have fun. Let's go out there, let's play fast, let's play for each other, let's sacrifice, and let's just see how good we can be. And we went out there and we played free, we played naked, we played clear of mind, and I think it showed. And I think that shows what we can do when we do play fast and play free and do all the things that we talked about as a unit. Again, a lot of things to clean up, a lot of places we wish we could have back, but we did enough to get the win in the NFL. That's really all that matters.
All right, just a follow-up question on this. Did Ron just put the sign up, or was there a mantra behind it?
He put the sign up, and then in the meeting, we talked about it, and he reminded us day in and day out to do your job. Do your job not only for yourself, but for the guy to the left and to the right of you. And, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, when you listen to some of the greatest coaches, Coach Bill Belichick, Coach Saban, they all say that same mindset and mantra of do your job. And it sounds so simple, but you'd be surprised how you can get caught up in the emotions of trying to make a play and trying to do more than what's required of you to help the team. And it comes from a good spot. But at the end of the day, man, it's 11 guys working as one, not one guy trying to do the job of all 11 guys.